Phenomenal. What does my boy Dave Ramsey say? Better than I deserve.
Yep. That's true, man. We're always doing better than we deserve. We're, if you wake up every day with just a grateful heart and count your blessings, I feel like it's gonna at least help you a little bit on your day. Take that time in the morning to get your mind right and go into your day with gratitude, because we're all more blessed than we deserve. That's for sure. I know I am. Good morning, Adam. Good to see you, sir. Well, we're gonna get right into it today because we actually got a really good topic, I think, and some really good speaking points. I'm really interested to hear Miss Ward's feedback on some of this, because I always, really value what she has to say. She's one of those people, when she talks, I listen. And I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about this. What kind of planning are you doing for this upcoming busy season? What kind of stuff are you putting into place? What kind of planning are you doing? What kind of maintenance are you doing? What kind of procedures are you starting to use to do better than you did last year? So if you have any comments or tips or advice, drop them in the comments for sure. Because one thing's for sure, we can all learn from each other and do better. So if you don't mind praying us up, Miss Ward, we'll get this thing popping.
My pleasure. Lord, thank you for allowing us to rise this morning and to breathe again. We're very clear that everybody didn't have this opportunity, and we are humbled to walk out into the world and represent you to the fullest. Thank you for covering our minds, our spirits, our souls, our businesses, our families, our wives, our husbands, our children, and our employees. Lord, please give us clear vision to step forward into this season that we welcome with production, profit, and possibility. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, let's pop over here and get our. Sorry, I'm not usually the banner guy. That's usually let's pop our banner up here. We're gonna be reading from the surprise. We're reading from Proverbs, guys. I'm gonna make a test for me. I'm gonna try to not read from Proverbs the next week of the grind. I actually have been reading through James again recently, and I love the book of James too. It's probably my second favorite. It's a toss-up between James and the Gospel of John. I really love the Gospel of John because I just feel like it encompasses Christ and what he did for us. But Proverbs chapter 6. I'm going to read the New Living Translation, and then I'm going to read the King James Version. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6 says, "Take a lesson from the ants, you lazy bones. Learn from their ways and become wise. Though they have no prince or governor or ruler to make them work, they labor hard all summer, gathering food for the winter. But you lazy bones, how long will you sleep? When will you wake up? A little extra sleep, a little more slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. Then poverty will pounce on you like a bandit. Scarcity will attack you like an armed robber." I love the New Living Translation because it calls the lazy people lazy bones. And if you had like an old grandma or like an old aunt or grandpa or something that was a Bible reader, you might have heard them use the phrase lazy bones. Get your lazy bones out that bed or whatever. Or maybe that's just me. But the King James Version says, "Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer and gathereth her food in the harvest. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou rise out of thy sleep?" When I first got into reading the Bible, and I've shared this story before, I believe. When I first got into reading the Bible when I was about 23 or 24 years old, I took everything literally, every single thing I read. And when I read this verse, I literally did what it said. I went out and I checked out some ants. And I sat there and I watched them for a little bit. And the more I watched them, the more things I noticed about them. One thing that I noticed about the ants, first and foremost, was that they worked together as a team. They all had a common goal, whatever their goal was, whether it was building up the ant colony, whether it was getting food and bringing it back to the ant hill, whatever. They all had a common goal and they worked together. Second thing that I noticed about them was that they were really, really hard workers. An interesting fact about an ant, most people know, is that ants are considering their size, are one of the most strongest creatures on the planet. They can lift like 50 times their weight and carry it for a considerable length. Now in the scripture, it says that they don't have any guide, overseer, or ruler telling them what to do. Ants do have a queen. They do have the queen ant, but that queen isn't sitting there telling all the other ants what to do. Everybody knows their role. They do their role, and they're doing it without any complaining, without any, hey, you got to get this done. That's a big difference between people that get shit done and people that don't. If you need somebody to tell you what to do every step of your way, and this is a good thing to take into consideration when you're hiring and looking at prospects to be in your company or be whatever. If you have to babysit them the entire way and it's constant, they're not self motivated and self-disciplined to do things. A lot of people, when they read this scripture, the biggest takeaway they get from it is how hard worker, how much of a hard worker ants are. They're just such hard workers. But if you really think about it, one of the big takeaways for me is that the ant is a real great example of self-discipline. The ant doesn't need the queen to say, hey, go build that wall. You know, somebody just messed up this part of our colony. Go fix it. Doesn't need to be told to go get the food. Doesn't need to be told to go do these things. And the ant is so self-disciplined that it knows that, hey, when it's harvest time, when it's the summer, it's time to gather up some stuff and be prepared for the winter when you won't have as much food. When they go down in their holes and they're basically stocked up because they have what they need. And a lot of those ants, to be perfectly honest with you, they're not even going to be alive during that time. It'll be a whole different group of ants because ants don't live that long. But anyway, those are just a few things I took away. And it really, I wanted to talk about preparing for the busy season. And you're in one of a few boats. You're already there. You're busy as can be. You're starting to ramp up, or you're still on the tail end of that slow season. But any of those three that you're in, it doesn't matter which one you're in, you need to get ready. If you're already in the busy season, you got a little backpedaling to do, because if you haven't prepared, it's not that it's too late, but you need to get your crap together quick. If you're starting to ramp up, now's the time. Like, get your plan together, start realizing what you're going to do. And if you're still a little bit slow, man, take that slow time to prepare for the busy season. I made a few notes. I'd like to hear Miss Ward's feedback as well. But the first thing that I said you should do in my notes is take a personal inventory of your a personal check, if you will, of your personal well-being. How are you doing as an individual, as a human being? Are you still doing the same old, pondering the path of procrastination and meandering the maze of mediocrity? Because if that's what you're still doing, guess what? You ain't gonna do so good coming this busy season. You're gonna be complacent. You're not gonna be ready. You're not gonna be on point when trials and tribulations come, because the busy season is when when the Lord puts it on you. There's gonna be all kinds of stuff thrown at you. So if you're not looking at your personal well-being, your physical well-being, your spiritual well-being, your mental well-being, are you still laying into bed for an extra hour every morning and just tossing and turning? Remember what the proverb said at the end of that verse: a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. So take a check of your spiritual, mental, and physical well-being. Because if you aren't in your top performing condition for this busy season, then your team's not going to be, your business isn't going to be, your family isn't going to be. It's going to affect everything in your life. So number one, first and foremost, is your personal well-being. I know just from my own personal life that when I am not on my personal game and I don't have my stuff together personally, everything else falls apart. My second one is truck and shop inventory. Truck and shop inventory. You need to be getting your inventory straight. Your inventory should be straight year round. But going into this busy season, you need to realize that you might need 3 of those flat bar igniters on your van. You might need, 3 of those start device kits on your van. Because God forbid you go out there and you hopefully are pre-trip diagnosing your calls. You see you got 2 gas ranges, not oven not lighting. You should have 3 glow bar igniters on your van because you should be ready. You should have extra lid switches on your van. Whatever those fast moving objects is. Me, I'm the type of person, I imagine Miss Ward's the same way. I don't like to get ready. I like to be ready. If it's that fast moving item, I'm not stocking it up before the busy season. It's already stocked up. But I know a lot of you are still new to this. So work on this time right now to build that inventory up. And there's different people out there that do things differently. Some of you keep all your inventory at the shop and you pull parts to go out. If that's the way you do it, that's perfectly fine. It's not the way I do it. I keep anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 worth of inventory on every single one of my vans because I love first call completes. And at the end of the day, you can pre-trip diagnose all you want to, but when you're there for that fridge and that customer asks you, oh, while you're here, it's that, oh, while you're here that bites you in your ass because you weren't planning for that. And you don't have that 341, 241 for that easy first call complete. So truck and van inventory. I'll stop right there, Ms. Ward, because I'm talking a lot. You got anything to throw in there?
Yeah, well, I think that first thing that we have to look at is don't be paralyzed by your past failures. Take the issues, chest out, chin up, and move forward. I think a lot of times people they want the success, but they fear the onslaught of the success, everything that comes with it, because they are not confident. And they're not confident because really they haven't had their chest kicked in enough. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what business is about. And I think we have to give ourselves grace. The other things that I think about is what systems can I put in place that are simple and I can constantly and consistently fold into my daily routine. Um, and that's important because we were discussing earlier how whenever I do jobs or the team does jobs and they come back and some of the parts are reusable or something like that, how I post them on eBay daily. And people are like, how do you find time to do it? Well, the key is I have keep it simple. Like it's just like I take a drink of water with my lemonade or whatever. I just fold it in because I have a system set up so my posting is quick, this is quick, that's quick. And I know that 5 minute, when I look at the return, as far as I purchased the part, I use the part, this part is going to be useful to someone else. My money is working. My money should always be working harder than me. And the key is if a part is sitting on the shelf, how many times y'all took something off and said, oh, I could use that. And it's been riding around with you for a year and you still haven't used it. Like it's just not good business. So you should constantly be moving. The other thing is I think about with volume, like I personally never have a slow season. Like I personally don't. And the only reason I don't is because I have multiple streams I deal with. And so the biggest thing I'm always looking at is what can I develop to push the overflow, quote unquote, of the busy season into the slower months. You follow me? That's why I do the eBay thing. You follow me? Because I'm always looking at, okay, how can I do this and how can I do keep it simple, stupid? See, you don't have to have all these structures in place, this and that. What you have to do is have processes. And you always hear me talk about atomic habits. You never rise to the height of your goals, you rise to the height of your systems. And the
Mm.
systems have to be simple, and you can, as a human being without any technology, something that you could do. And as you add technology and apps, you still understand the basic premise so you can be consistent. And that's what business is about. How many times when we started out in business did we see us lose opportunity? Like you say, dang, I could have did that better. You're beating yourself up. Well, while you're standing there beating yourself up, you're losing the opportunity to build a system, learn from the lessons, so the next time it comes up, you can not only do it better, but you can win from it and then create better systems. I think a lot of people just don't have confidence in themselves, and they don't give themselves the credit of the ingenuity that we're born with. You look at the ants, that's in their DNA. It's in your DNA to be successful, but you have to get away from the naysayers and the negativity in your life and focus on what you do well and pat yourself on the back every now and then. That's all I got, bro.
I'm gonna pat you too, but nobody can. It's not. It doesn't reach through. But I'm patting. I'm patting. Yeah, I mean, I can't. I couldn't agree more. Like, everybody's got different ways to do things, but that little piece that you mentioned from the Atomic Habits was one of my biggest takeaways from that books. Goals are great, but goals aren't what going to get you to the next level. It's your systems and the procedures and the habits you have in your life that are that in the book he talks about. I think he's talking about a basketball team. He's like, every basketball team in the NBA's goal is to win the championship. Every single one. None of the people in the NBA go into the season and say, man, I hope we don't win the championship this year. Every single one of the team's goal is to win the championship, whether it's football, baseball. It's always to win the big game, go all the way, yada, yada, yada. But what gets them there is their systems and their habits and their practices. The team that does the best and has the best habits and trains the hardest and all those different things. So yeah, that was a big takeaway for me. I read that book, and after I read it, it quickly became one of my absolute favorite books. Because it's just so simple. It's just so simple. Every day you wake up, get a little better. And those ants, and I know it sounds silly, but I really do encourage you, if you're in an area where there's a lot of ants, take a look at them, because and not only take a look at them, but take a little time to mess with them a little bit. Because one thing I did when I considered them, when I was first reading the Bible, I actually I think it was like a book or something. I stuck something in the way of these ants moving. And one thing I noticed when I did that was the ants didn't stop. They didn't say, oh, no. They didn't all lay down and take a nap or say, oh, man, it's over. This huge, huge obstacle is in our way. They immediately changed course. They immediately pivoted and figured out a way to get around that obstacle, whether it was over it, around it, through it, whatever. They were getting past that obstacle. They didn't give a crap. It didn't faze them one bit. And I love that about them. I was thinking about the busy times, and we have a hard stop at 8:30, but one thing that I really want to touch on before we stop is savings plan. When you look at that scripture and you look at that ant, the ant is planning. He has a savings, and the colony has a savings plan. They're not going to go out there and harvest all this stuff and say, oh man, look at all this food. Let's just engorge ourselves and eat till we can't eat anymore. No, they store it up. They save it up and they plan because they know a slow time is coming. They know some obstacle down the road will come their way. Whether that obstacle is a broken down van like the one that I have right now, whether that obstacle is a ant that passes away or ant that leaves or dies or whatever, whether that obstacle is sickness, whether that obstacle, is a major catastrophe within your business. There's all sorts of obstacles that can come your way. But if you have money saved up, like, let's just be honest here. If you don't have money saved up, those obstacles are a much bigger pain in the butt than if you have money in the bank. When my van breaks down, if I don't have the $4,000 to fix it, that sucks. But you know what the good news is? I do have the $4,000 to fix it. I can put that money into that van. So if you don't have a savings plan, I'm not saying you have to do profit first. I know we're big profit first people. But you need to have some sort of plan where you are saving some money for emergencies, and for those slow times, because if at the end of the day, when that slow time hits, it's too late. We all aspire to be more like Miss Ward. I know I do, but unfortunately for a lot of us, we do have slow times. We have those slow times and we're working towards getting to no slow times. And let's be honest, we got a little spoiled during COVID. I didn't have slow times during COVID. This year was the first year since 2020 that I had a slow season. And it was short-lived. We're already past it. We're revving right into busy season right now. The sealed system jobs are flying in. Those R600s are coming in. The refrigerator calls are coming in. All, people are getting their tax money back. So it's on and popping. There's an old saying. Good morning, Saul. There's an old saying. It's nobody's business to teach you business. You better go and learn your industry. I've actually never heard that saying, but it's a good one. Yeah. And if you don't take anything else away from this, get some self-discipline in your life. It's not only going to help you during the busy season, it's going to help you in every single aspect of your life. Not just your business. It's going to help you in your marriage. It's going to help you with your family. It's going to help you with your relationships with your friends. And you can tell you don't have to hang out with a person very long before you realize if they have any self-discipline in their life. And I am in no way, shape, or form saying that I'm the most self-disciplined person. But if you look at the TK of today and you look at the TK of 15, even 10 years ago, there's really no comparison. So yeah, you got any closing thoughts there, Miss Ward? Any little nuggets?
Well, I really wanted you to go over the tool maintenance and the growth. If you could cover that real quick, I think that's really important.
Absolutely. Tool maintenance. The tools that you have, I'm a big proponent of stewardship. If you have something, you need to be a good steward of it. You need to take good care of it. Whether it's your tools, your vehicles, your shop, your inventory, whatever. Everything you have, you should be a good steward of it. And the last thing you need is your tools or your equipment or your vehicle breaking down in the height of the busy season. So right now, if you haven't ramped up yet, go ahead and get those oil change done. Go ahead and get those tune-ups done. Go ahead and get your vehicles in the shop real quick and have the mechanic go over, check all the tires. Another little tip, and my partner taught me this one, is plan your inspections for your vehicles in January. First of the year, January. Because you know why? You know what sucks? Is mid-July and the height of your busy season, having to take 3 or 4 vans to get inspected and slow down your day. Unless you're one of those guys that just has old boy down the street slap a sticker on it. I know there's a couple of you out there. But maintenance, get your sealed system equipment. There is maintenance to your sealed system equipment. The last thing you want to do is go out on that sealed system jobs and something start leaking or something start operating. My personal thing with sealed system and tools that are super important, always have a backup. Maintain the stuff you got, but if you rolling around and you only have one vacuum pump and your vacuum pump goes down, guess what? You got to go buy a vacuum pump or you have to fix yours. But if you have a backup vacuum pump, and it might not be the field piece bad boy, my backup vacuum pump, I bought at a pawn shop, but it works like a friggin' champ. It's a good, solid vacuum pump. Maintenance, have backup tools, have backup inventory, and also plan to grow during this busy season. It's a good opportunity to grow your business while you're busy. But also keep in mind, you don't want to get so big. I have made a vow in my company that I am not hiring any new technicians until I get everything in my company running a little bit better than it is. It doesn't got to be perfect, but there's some things that I want done. And my goal for this busy season is to get things running in the store and in the service side of things to such a way that I can handle the growth. If you're not ready for the growth, then don't worry about it. There's more ways to grow too than just adding on people. So, but what do you think, Miss Ward?
Well, I think it's great. I think that we're all welcoming the busy season, and I think this is a great time to position ourselves for success. Just remember, you can do it and focus. One last thing, and I'm done. Is there's one more book called "The Obstacle Is the Way" by Ryan Holiday. I feel like everybody should read that book. "The Obstacle Is the Way" by Ryan Holiday.
Is the way.
Yep. And of course, our favorite, Atomic Habits, James Clear.
What was the author of "The Obstacle Is the Way"?
Ryan Holiday.
Got it. "The Obstacle Is the Way" by Ryan Holiday. If you haven't picked that up, check it out. If you haven't read Atomic Habits, check that out. Thank you guys for tuning in. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Dr. Dan. I appreciate
What's up, Dan?
Tuning in. My buddy, Dr. Dan, the LG Master. Quick business for the Alliance. If you haven't signed up for the All Access membership, make sure you go over to servicealliancegroup.com. We're still running the springtime promo. Gets you $100 off your All Access membership. And we've preached enough about what's there. If you have any questions about it, always feel free to reach out to me, EJ, Zach, Mike. As always, Miss Ward, I really appreciate you joining me. I know that EJ might be a little salty that I stole you. Me and EJ, it was a hill I was ready to die on. I said, when we did the change in the grind, first thing I said, Miss Ward's mine. I said, that's my girl. I said, I don't care what else happens, but Miss Ward's coming with me. And I appreciate you always coming on and sharing your wisdom and just bringing that spirit of humility and gratitude and just everything you did. But we're going to wrap this thing up. EJ said he's definitely salty. So it's all right, man. You know what? Every once in a while, if I need to take a day off, I'll let you be my fill-in, bro. How about that? EJ's like, man, screw you, TK. He just got some good co-hosts lined up. So, and if you guys are interested in coming on the show, let us know. Like, we like having guests. We like having people on. We like hearing, Miss Ward's got a lot of cool stuff to say, but sometimes I feel like I'm just spinning in circles and saying the same things over and over again. So we'd love to have you guys on. But anyway, if you haven't prepared for this busy season, if you're not doing good in your own life and your personal well-being, just make a small change today. It doesn't have to be huge. Make a small change. Tomorrow morning, get up 30 minutes earlier. and have a little quiet time, have a little meditation, do a little stretching or some yoga or some exercise. But either way, just go out there and kill it today. We will see you next Thursday, and have a great weekend. Peace.